Welcome, traveler. Tonight you are a smuggler of quiet renown, drifting beneath a silver Egyptian moon. The Nile is your road, your confidant, your concealment. With each stroke of the oar, you carry precious secrets, fragrant bundles of myrrh tucked beneath flax wrappings, and a scroll inked with forbidden prayers, destined for a noble who pays well for the silence of others. Your boat is small, built for silence. A narrow skiff, dark as the water itself, she glides along with hardly a whisper. You do not rush. That is not the way of the Nile, nor the way of those who live by its unseen currents. Time here does not obey the sun. It bends to the shape of the wind, the strength of the reeds, and the tilt of a watchman's lantern. The air is cool and soft, and it smells of damp silt and lotus bloom. The city is far behind now, Memphis fading like a dream behind the bend. Only temple fires glint dimly on the horizon. Your hands rest loosely on the tiller. You know this river. You've known it since your feet were small enough to dangle off its banks. The Nile speaks to you in the quiet crackle of water against hull and the hush of insects in the shallows. Tonight, you take the back routes, little fingers of the river that wind through whispering cane and sleepy heron nests. You pass fishermen asleep in their moored boats, heads tipped back, nets coiled like sleeping serpents beside them. No one stirs. Even the crocodiles, kings of the dark water, float like forgotten statues in the reeds. You pause once to adjust your cargo. The scroll is wrapped in linen and tucked inside a painted canister, sealed with a plug of beeswax. It hums with something old, words no longer permitted, or perhaps never spoken aloud. You don't ask. Smugglers do not ask questions of the things they carry. They listen to the river instead. A temple bell tolls in the distance. You mark it by instinct. 2 bells from Yunu. You are nearly halfway. The cargo must be delivered to a steward's servant before sunrise, left in the roots of an old tamarisk tree beneath the ruins of a forgotten mastaba. You row slower now, for the water narrows. Papyrus brushes your shoulders as you pass, and a curious egret eyes you from a moonlit branch. The oar's rhythm is hypnotic. Dip, pull, breathe. The sky above is velvet, and stars scatter across it like sifted sand. You know their names too: Sopdet, Sa, the hunter, the cat. Your grandmother taught you them all while she pressed amulets into clay and sang to the moon. Up ahead, the glint of copper on water makes you still. A patrol boat, perhaps. You let the oar rest. Your skiff coasts forward, barely moving. You sink lower in your seat, letting the reeds disguise you. Breath slow, no sound but the night birds and the water. But the glint does not return. Only a floating lantern tethered to nothing, bobbing gently like an abandoned thought. Perhaps another smuggler. Perhaps a trap. Either way, you let it drift past. Your route changes now. A northern fork known only to those who've spent years learning its bends and silences. Here, the air grows thicker. The scent of crushed lilies mingles with wet stone, and the sweet musk of night bloomers. The silence deepens, as though the river itself is holding its breath. You remember the words of an old river priest you once ferried across these waters. He told you, the Nile has no beginning and no end. It is the breath between stories, the road beneath time. You had not asked for wisdom, but the river gives what it will. You pass beneath a half-sunken pillar, the ruin of something ancient and forgotten. Your fingers trail across the stone as you pass. It hums faintly under your skin, warm and strange. Some gods still linger here. You do not name them. You nod in quiet respect. The drop site is close now. The tamarisk tree is older than the road itself, its roots thick and twisted, gnarled like the hands of the dead. You recognize it by the white stones piled at its base, 3 small markers placed by the steward's men. You beach the skiff softly in the mud and climb out. The earth is cold beneath your feet. You crouch, brush away fallen leaves, and leave the scroll nestled between roots where dew gathers. The air smells of incense and old bark. A wind moves through the reeds like a whisper of approval. There is no need to wait. Your payment will appear by tomorrow. Coins wrapped in a black cloth, tied beneath a stone beside the granary wall in Zawiat El Arian. This is the way. No names, no thanks. Only quiet trade in the spaces between. You return to your boat, push it gently from shore, and let the current pull you forward. No rowing now, just the drift. Your eyes close, and your body sways with the rhythm of the water. You feel the Nile's slow pulse beneath you, its secrets, its songs. Tonight, you are the silence between lanterns, the hush behind the market noise, the hand that leaves no trace but wakes before dawn. And the river knows your name. The stars begin to dim. A soft indigo creeps into the sky's edge, and the first hints of morning stir the breathless hush of night. You are still on the water, reclining in your skiff, head resting against coiled rope, your body gently rocked by the Nile's ancient lullaby. Welcome, traveler. Tonight you are still a smuggler, but now the night has passed. The cargo is gone, the danger has slipped into memory, and the river carries you home in the soft arms of dawn. You are not a thief. You are not a hero. You are the current itself, quiet, watchful, patient. The oar lies idle. You drift beneath the pale gaze of morning stars, your limbs heavy with calm. You smell the water warming, the scent of wet clay and wild mint. A flock of ibis rise from the reeds ahead, their wings carving silence into the sky. You watch them go without moving. The stillness is a balm. Here, the Nile widens, and the marshes fall away into open water. A low mist clings to the surface, shifting with the breeze. You guide the boat gently with your foot on the tiller. There is no need to rush. The city is far off, and the world has not quite woken yet. Your thoughts drift like the river around a bend. You recall nights long past, your first solo run, when your hands shook so hard you could barely tie the cargo knots. The man who taught you the secret routes is long gone now, his boat broken and swallowed by a seasonal flood. But you remember his words. The Nile sees more than Pharaoh's scribes, but it tells no one. The horizon blushes with a faint golden pink. A few fishermen rise early, their fires small against the riverbank. You wave once, briefly, a gesture more for form than need. In this life, everyone sees and says little. That is the way of things. You eat a handful of figs, sweet and soft, and sip from a goatskin flask. The water is cool, drawn last evening from a hidden well. It tastes of stone and moss and something older than memory. Your cargo hold is empty now. Only a few scraps of rope and a woven mat where you sometimes nap in the afternoon heat. On the western bank, fields stretch green and gold toward the horizon. You see oxen plodding through furrows, a child guiding them with a stick nearly as tall as he is. Life begins again, just as it always has, just as it always will. The sun peaks above the desert edge, and the river shimmers as though strewn with molten coins. There is a moment, just a moment, when you feel as though the whole world has paused to breathe with you. The wind lifts. The reeds sway in agreement. Even your boat seems to exhale. You know the deal is done. The steward's servant will have taken the scroll before light touched the tree. The payment will come, as it always does. You've never been cheated. There is a strange honor in these shadow trades, more stable perhaps than the politics of palaces. You steer toward a cluster of palms ahead. Beyond them lies your hiding place, a quiet inlet where your skiff rests by day, shielded by fallen logs and tall grass. You pass beneath a leaning acacia, its branches low and heavy with sleep. The path narrows, and you pull the oar softly, avoiding the shallows. Your cove appears, still veiled in shadow. A blue heron lifts lazily as you approach, watching you with one eye before taking flight. You guide the boat into the reeds, secure it with a braided cord, and step out onto the dew-wet earth. There is a hollow beneath a stone where you keep your cloak, a worn straw mat, and a clay lantern. You light the lantern, not for light, but ritual. Its soft glow warms your fingers. You sit beside it, wrapping the cloak around your shoulders. You are not afraid of sleep here. This inlet knows you. The wind here does not speak your name to strangers. The snakes keep to their sunlit stones, and the jackals pass you by as one of their own. Before rest, you whisper a short prayer, not to any named god, but to the river itself. You give thanks for silence, for safe passage, for the quiet trust of the reeds. And then you lie back on the mat, arms folded over your chest, and close your eyes. The day will rise, people will shout in markets, priests will chant in temples, and scribes will scratch away at stone. But none of that touches you now. You are hidden. You are still. And the Nile, in its endless patience, carries your dreams onward.